Welcome back to America Decides. A federal judge has ruled that Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency likely overstepped and maybe did more than that in its efforts to dismantle the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. The judge is now requiring the Trump administration to allow current USAID employees and service contractors to once again have access to email and payment systems, though, to be candid, that's a small tactical legal victory. USAID, as we've known it for decades, pretty much doesn't exist. I want to bring in former Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel to discuss this. Chuck, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining me. You're worried about this from a national security perspective, not only a foreign aid perspective. Why?
Thanks, Major, for giving me a chance to talk about this. I'm very concerned about this. You know, the USAID was established in 1961 by John Kennedy, U.S. Foreign Assistance Act. Every president since then, except President Trump, every Congress since then, strongly supported this. And they've supported it because USAID, what it does, help develop countries, make friends, influence people, give us an opportunity to project power around the world, assist others, be the kind of nation America is, respected, admired, all of that. That's what USAID does. Now, that doesn't mean that there are some things that, like any federal government program, could be tightened up, be better, but do it the smart way. Do it in a way that you're aware of the importance of USAID. To just cut it off is a very dangerous, dumb thing, because fundamentally what it does, it cuts the trust and confidence that these countries all over the world have in America. And these are countries all over the world, and we need friends. It's a global strategy that this plays a very big part in.
Talk to me about the China-Russia angle, in that if we're not on this world stage, not doing what we've done for decades, they'll do something else.
Well, that's true, because I've talked to many ambassadors about this and other dynamics of what's going on. They will find alternatives. They'll have to find alternatives. They'll be forced to find alternatives. The Chinese are everywhere, as we know, in the world. The Chinese are saying, you can't trust the Americans. We're here. We can help you. We can help develop you. We can help with your health care and your education. And so you've got an option here. And some of these countries will be in a situation where they'll have to take that. And we're missing that whole point. You know, always the questions, the big questions in life, but especially foreign policy and government, where does this go? What happens next? Tell me how it ends. All that series of questions we're not asking. And if we were asking that, then we wouldn't do things like this.
Chuck, I want to ask you about things that are happening adjacent to this conversation about USAID. The Trump administration is trying to shut down Voice of America, as it has come to be known for decades. It also has used Doge and Elon Musk's associates to go to a nonprofit, the U.S. Institute of Peace, which is not part of the executive branch, to assert its authority there. You just asked this question: what's happening and where is it going? Can you answer that in those other two instances?
Well, I wish I had a good answer for you, Major, but I don't like where this is going. I don't like it for a lot of reasons. First of all, it's not in the interest of our country, and we're not thinking that way. Second, it's going to cause some real disconcerting action in this country. You know, most presidents, every president since World War II, and I've worked for three of them. I've known them all since Nixon, worked with them, about three of them. They've tried to bring people together, their country together. They've tried to bring their allies together. And what I see happening here, to answer your question, is President Trump is doing just the opposite. He's not working with Congress. I don't know what he's going to do with the courts here. That's an open question. But he's not trying to bring a country together. I mean, this is a great country. This nonsense about make America great again, this is a great country. We can be better. We need to be better. We self-correct like no other nation in the history of man. But this is very dangerous, I think, in my opinion, Major, where we're headed.
And Chuck, the broader question is, and the Trump administration is very clear about this, it doesn't believe the post-World War II transatlantic structure and international relationships matter nearly as much as you do, and lots of people who are worried about these actions do. They say the American people knew that Trump didn't like them, wanted him to take a sledgehammer to them, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Well, I can't speak for anybody who voted for Trump, what they thought or what they didn't think. But I'll tell you this, the post-World War II world order that America built with its allies has been very successful. Oh, we've got problems. We still have problems. We have wars, but there's been no World War III. There's been no nuclear exchange. More people free than ever before. America is more prosperous than it's ever been. More countries have hope, possibilities, prosperity than ever before in the history of man. So to tear that foundation down, and that's exactly what we're seeing here, and say that doesn't matter. America is strong unto itself. Just a cursory reading of the 1930s would bring some reality to this. And I think we better be careful here because the world is far more dangerous today than it was in the 1930s. And it was pretty damn dangerous then. You know, I wasn't around in the 1930s, but I was born the year after World War II ended when my dad came back from the South Pacific. And like a lot of the baby boomers, I was fortunately grounded in some of that history. But we better be careful because we're putting ourselves in the world in a very precarious position as we look down the road to the future. We need friends, we need allies. And one other thing, as former Secretary of Defense, one of the main reasons we have been able to project power around the world, Major, is because of our friends, because of our alliances, because of relationships where we can station our troops and our ships everywhere in the world. Without that, we wouldn't have the same ability to defend ourselves.
Former Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Major.